As promised, the Canadian Football Hall of Famer Matt Dunigan to talk about this BC Lions win. Great to see you, buddy. It was funny because last weekend when Vernon Adams had that 6-interception game, Dave Naylor said, all right, well, the next game is maybe one of the most important in Vernon Adams' entire career. He absolutely responded against the Owls.
Yeah, he did. And it couldn't have come quick enough for him, right? Because you just want to flush that, like he said. And right after the football game, he did flush it. And he answered the questions beautifully. Then he was pressed a little bit later on in the week, and he got a little edgy. You know, he got tired of it, right? Because he wants to move on. He wants to get to that next game and spit that taste out. And he got that opportunity with a full lineup at his fingertips. And he took advantage. It didn't start out very well for him. You know, it looked like it was a pick six and he got a little reprieve. But Vernon, I think, learned a valuable lesson. Look, we have watched this guy his entire career, even down in the States when he was playing college football. He can do it all on the football field, and he typically does. He doesn't have to do that anymore. With this lineup and this group around him, on special teams, you got Sean White and Flintoff, your punter, that can absolutely bang it with anybody. And you got a defense that's been lights out. 20 sacks and 8 interceptions on the season, y'all. And VA, he's surrounded by a full group of receivers now. Whitehead was back in the lineup. Look, Hollins and Contoy can start for anybody. Hollins was his #1 guy for most of the season. But now you get Rhymes back, you get Hatcher back, and now you got Whitehead. And now Contoy and Hollins all of a sudden are 4 and 5. Right. And they had good ball games tonight. So and they had a new running back. And Sean, I call him Shivers, and I call him Little Kevin Hart, you know, because the guy, you know, just reminded me of Kevin Hart. He's excitable, and he's a talent, and we saw that today. They have a full repertoire of ability around Vernon Adams, and I think it's a valuable lesson for him to learn tonight that he doesn't have to do it all, Jay. He just drive the car.
Well, and there's so much, I mean, not only was there pressure on him after the last game he played, Nathan Rourke was in the building. So the guy he replaced, the guy who was so sensational for BC, was watching the game. So it just adds more pressure.
I think he was drooling, too, watching the game, you know, because he's like, wow, that's a lot of talent. And when you look at that football team from top to bottom, it's exciting. What Amar is doing, Amar Dolman was doing for that city and that franchise is incredible.
It's great to see.
And for them to add in 4 wins in 5 games, it's special right now on the West Coast.
And a great crowd at BC Place, too, so awesome to see. Cody Fajardo, we love Cody. He goes to Montreal this season, sacked 21 times this season. Is it a protection issue, or is it something that Cody needs to do differently?
Yes. and yes, and he's going to get in the ice cold whirlpool again because he was hammered and he had to do a lot himself out there against the BC Lions football team. But the Lions been doing that to a lot of good quarterbacks. And Cody, you have to remember, Greg Ellingson's on the shelf, Philpott's on the shelf, and you got Reggie White Jr. on the shelf. Those are 3 starters. And he hadn't seen them all season. And so you rely on William Stanback, who's been non-existent this year. And this football game, first carry 9 yards. And then the rest of the game is held to, like, I think 11 yards. I think is that more offensive play calling, or is that just the BC Lions imposing their will? I think it's the Lions imposing their will, but your best player on the football field, William Stanback, is held in check. Cody's asked to do a lot of things, Jay, and he needs some help out there. He can't return punts and catch punts. You know, he can't block on protection for the punt team. And there's a lot of things going wrong for the Montreal Alouettes right now, and it's not all Cody Fajardo. He just needs some more help.
I'll say this: they're still only 2-2, so they're 500. The Lions, though, 4-1, and they get to go into a bye week.
Right. So things are good on the West Coast.
Things are looking great in BC. Great to see you, buddy.
Jay, as always, man. Hey, the beard's coming in good, brother.
Thank you.
It's
You
coming
too.
in good.
The beard. Yeah. The beards.